Okay, hopefully, and this will have a bonus word. And I'll try to do this quick. So again, you can have a calculator. I will definitely have a calculator. So the first one, 23 divided by 15 equals. So again, this is, and I forgot to do this part on the last video, describe. So this is going to be 1.53, and the 3 is repeating forever and ever, so it's going to have a bar notation on top of that. So this is, what kind of decimal is this? This is a re, repeating and a non-terminating, meaning it goes on forever. Okay, so it's a repeating and a non-terminating decimal. I forgot to do that last time. Okay, so decimal that never ends, and it repeats. 5 divided by 11. This one, again, is a repeating decimal, and 0.4545. So the equivalent would be 0.45 because the number that's repeating is the 45 over and over and over again. Okay, again, it's a repeating, non-terminating. 2, 5 a.m. 5 a.m. Temperature is negative 15, so it's pretty cold. And at 10 a.m., temperature went up, right? So well, I'm going to draw the arrow that way. This way, alright, sideways. So here's 5 a.m. So you don't get confused. And this is 10 a.m. So 5 a.m. we know is very cold. It's 15 degrees, right? And then the temperature goes up, right? It's going up by 16 degrees. All right, so we're asking, what's the temperature here? Remember what final is, right? So final equals start plus change. So my starting temperature is negative 15, and my change is 16. Well, they're more positive. They're not friends. They're more positive. So final temperature is 1 degree. So at 10 a.m. is 1 degree. So think about elevators. This is a nice elevator problem here. You're all the way underground, negative 15, all the way down there. And somebody asks you, I want you to go up 16 floors. Where would you land? Well, you would end up on the first floor. Okay. For these problems, and do I have my decimal calculator? I like the calculator before, but I'm going to do this by hand. So I change this to 2 times 1 is 2, so 3 over 2, negative. And I'm going to change this guy to 15 over 10, negative. So I'm going to write it out. Negative 3 over 2 divided by 8 over 2, and then divided by negative 15 over 10. So I rewrote it. So I'm going to change the division to multiplication. It's negative 3 over 2 times this one. Reciprocal is 2 over 8. And I'm going to change that to multiplication again. Reciprocal is going to be 10 over 15, middle negative. There's a lot of simplifying that I can do. This 2, I can divide with these 2. So 2 divided by 2 is 1, and 2 divided by 2 is 1. So those 2 simplify to 1. And this 3 here, 1 divided by 3, I'm going to get 1. 15 divided by 3, I'm going to get 5. And then the 5 and 2, 10 divided by 2, that's going to become just 2. So it's a negative times a positive, which is a negative, and then negative times a negative is a positive. So my answer is going to be a positive answer. On the top, it's 1 times 1 times 2. At the bottom, it's 1 times 8. 1 times 8, and hopefully times 1. And that just gives you 2. Oh, I could have simplified that. That's going to give us 1/4. So in your calculator, if you have the opportunity, you've got 1/4, or maybe 0.25, something in that version. Okay. Determine the difference. Now, the first thing I'm going to do is actually change this to an improper fraction. So 8 times 5 is 40. So it's 44 over 5 minus negative 9 times 13 is 27. 117 plus 4, 121 over 9. Okay, so I just changed the mixed numbers to improper. I'm now going to change the subtraction problem into an addition problem. Keep. change and change this to the opposite, which is 121 over 9. The beauty about this now, right now, is it's an addition problem, so I have nothing to worry about. LCM. So this might have been a good calculator question, but I'm going to do it anyway. So this was times 9, right? So I'm going to multiply this times 9, and 44 times 9 equals 396. Then this was times 5, so times 5 over here. 121 times 5 equals 605. Now, at least. 45 and 605 plus 396 equals 1001. Oops. 45 and 1001. I change that to a mixed number. It's going to be 22. And, well, it's going to be 45. Let's see how much left over. 2 times 45 equals 990. So it's going to be 11 left over. So this is your final answer. Again, if you might have a different answer because it might be the non-simplified version. Okay. So over here, I'll take care of this guy right here. So I'm going to put a circle because that's what I'm going to do. Yeah, that makes it messy. All right, so let's just do that. So it's negative 2 over 7 plus 3 over 5. Find an LCM, which is 35. Times 7 times 7, it's going to be 21. Times 5 times 5, it's going to be negative 10. So it's 35 at the bottom. Negative plus a positive, there's more positive, so it's going to be a positive answer. And 21 has 11 more. So this thing right here, I cross it out. I'm going to write 11 over 35. What do I do next? I have to divide, right? So I'm going to divide 11 over 35. Divide it because this is what this is, right? Division over 2 over 7. Keep. Change the division to multiplication, and the reciprocal is 7 over 2. I can simplify 7 is 35. 7 divided by 7 is 1. 35 divided by 7 is 5. 11 times 1 is 11, and at the bottom 5 times 2 is 10. So this whole thing is 11 over 10. So I'm going to just, so this whole thing, I'm going to write 11 over 10 like this on top. So now I have to do 11 over 10 plus 0.8. 11 over 10, and what's 0.8 as a fraction? 8 over 10. Look how simple that becomes. So it's just two fractions being added. The bottom stays the same. 11 plus 8 is 19. Or 1 and 9 over 10, whichever one you prefer. A football team loses 6 yards on 4 consecutive plays. So we're playing football. And in football, you have to take the ball and carry it that way, right? If your team is facing that way, we have to go that way. So this team, instead of going that way, they went backwards once, twice, 3 times, and 4 times. So they lost 4, minus 4, another 4, another 4, and another 4. They're going backwards. Meanwhile, they're supposed to be going in this direction. So write an expression to represent how much they lost. Well, I'm going to figure out how much they lost. There's 2 ways. I can write it like this. Because they lost 4, then they lost another 4, then they lost another 4. So how much they lose in total? I don't have to add them all them up. Negative 4 plus negative 4 plus negative 4 plus negative 4 is negative 24. What's a short way of writing all that? Well, it's negative 4 times how much? Times, oh, I don't know where I'm getting negative 4. So, sorry. Go back. So actually, they lost 6 yards. It's 4 times. Right, so it would be negative 6, plus negative 6, plus negative 6, plus negative 6. So how much did they lose? Well, negative 24, right? That's one way of finding it, or we can do negative 6, because that's how much they lost. And the loss is represented by a negative integer, right? And times how much? Times 4. You notice I get the same answer. So I can use this expression or this expression to represent negative 24. Number 7, evaluate. So let me change that to an improper. So 4 times 2 is 8 plus 1, so this becomes 9 over 4 divided by negative 8 over 5. Negative times a negative is a positive. Let's simplify. 9 times 2 is 18, and 1 times 5 is 5. 18 over 5, or 1 and 3/5. No, sorry. Or 3 and 3/5. Number 8. So Sam is recording the number of hours he watches TV per weekday. He's allowed to watch 20 hours per week. So far, he has watched the following: Monday 3 and 2/5, Tuesday 2.5, Wednesday 4 and 1/1, 4 and 1/4, and Thursday 3 and 7/10. So how many hours can he watch on Friday? How much is left over for him to watch? So you would have to add all these, right? So 3 and 2/5 plus 2.5 plus 4 and 1/4 plus 3 and 7/10. I'm gonna add all that. Let's find the total. Now I don't have a calculator. What do you call it? A fraction calculator. The decimal one, I could have used it, but I'm gonna use this. So I'm gonna actually change this to a decimal because they're easy decimals. 3.4, 2.5 plus 4.25, then plus 3.70. If I add all that, I'm going to get a decimal answer, and that's okay. 3.4 plus 2.5 plus 4.25 plus 3.7. This gave me a total of 13.85. So that's how much he watched so far. So to find out how much he has left over, right, I'm going to do 20 minus 13.85. And that's going to give me 6.15. Which, if it's a multiple choice question, well, actually this is not. But if it was, you can change 615 into 6 and 15 over 100, right? We're going to simplify that, and 6, 3 over 20. That's how many hours he has left. So you have two versions of your decimal version and a fraction version, but they mean the same thing. This is that famous price fluctuation, right? So it's a popular ticket, concert ticket for some popular singer group. And the price keeps going up and down, so let me write it out. So it's 35.5, he lost. Went up again. I hate when it does that. And then went up even more. And then it went down a little bit, thank God. So we gotta find out if the price increased or decreased over the weekend, over the week. So please make sure that your answer is negative or minus 35.5 plus 78.3 plus 44.96 plus 55.23 and then minus 28.7. That gives us a total of 114.29. So even though there was some ups and downs, the price ended up being up for the week. So the price increased, yes, increased by how much? Not that much. So let's see, what was the price of the ticket at the beginning of the week? The price ended at $2.75. So remember, there was an increase, right? My increase of 114 went up by 114, and then which means that on Friday it ended up being 275.65. So we need to find this number over here. At the beginning of the week, it was way down here. It went up and it's 275, right? So how do we find the start here? You know what start is? Start equals final minus change. What was the final price? 275.65. What was the change? Minus, and what was the change? In this case, we're going to write 114.29. So what was the price of the tickets start with at the end of the week? At the beginning of the week, 275.65 minus 114.29. It means that at the beginning of the week, the price of the ticket, which you should have bought, was 161.36. And that makes sense because it had to be a lower price. So it was at 161.36, it went up, and ended up closing at 275.65. Quite pricey. This is not that bad. Here we have salamis. We're buying 3 3/4. I'm going to change this to a decimal. 3.75. I'm going to multiply by a pound of Hungarian salami, which is 23.99. Do that on a calculator. 3.75 times 23.99 equals. And my calculator is going to say that the Hungarian salami it's 89.9625. Remember, money goes two decimal places, so our final price is going to be 89.96. The French salami, which is this guy over here, we're going to do 3.75 times 19.95 per pound. Let's see what that is. That's going to give us 74.8125. We're going to round up to 74.81. Well, obviously, this one is more expensive. Let's figure out how much more. 89.96 minus 74.81. So we want to see the difference in price. It's a $15.15 differential between the two salamis, even though you're buying the same quantity. Okay, so might be based on quality. So next three. Oh, did I fix this? No, I didn't fix this. Oh my god. Okay, so remember, I'm gonna write here final equals start plus change. Start equals final minus change. And change is final minus start. So first question over here, 1, 2, 3. I have the start, I have the final, but I don't have to change. So I'm going to use this guy over here. Change is the final, which is -9, minus the start, which is 12. So -9 minus 12 becomes -9 plus -12. That's going to give us -21. So that makes sense. It was a 12, sort of warm. It went down by 21, and then it ended up at 9. That makes sense. Next one, it's with a 17 was really cold. It dropped. It went much colder. So you have -17. So we want the final. So it's the final is -17 plus what's the change? -17 again. So my final temperature ends up being -34. Last one again is the final. So you were at 9, so final temperature is the starting temperature plus the change. 9 degrees plus -34, which means we end up being at -25, right? Yeah, -25. So imagine you were on the 9th floor. You took a long, went down 34 floors. Where would you end up? You would end up on the -25th floor underground. Let's look at the last few here. This one tells you to describe, explain. You're going to need to explain what you do here. So I would write 1, add, or sorry, subtract. Subtract the numbers, the fractions in the parentheses. And then what are we going to do with that number? We're going to take that and the difference, right? We're going to find the difference, take the difference and divide by the denominator, -9/12, right? What do we do after that? Once we find the quotient of it, it's a division, right? We're dividing, so take the quotient, whatever the answer is, and divide it. I divide again here, right? So the one division, the second, and divide it. Divide that by -6 over 10. That's what we have to do. So let's do the inside part. Let's follow the instructions. The instructions say I have to subtract these two first. So it's negative. I'm going to find a common denominator, which is 72. So it's times 8 is -40, times 9 is -36. I can add these two, and I get 76, and negative minus a negative. Actually, I should have just written. There you go. Minus 36. So minus 40 minus 36 is negative 76. Okay, and what are we supposed to do this is, after we find the answer to the subtraction here, we're going to divide that negative 76 over 72. We're going to divide that by this guy over here, negative 9 over 12, which means negative 76 over 72 times negative 12 over 19. We're using the reciprocal, right? We can simplify. 12 divided by 12 is 1, 72 divided by 12 is 6. 6 divided by 2 is 3, and 76 divided by 2 is 38. So now we have easier numbers. On top is negative 38 times negative 1. It's going to be negative 38 positive, and then at the bottom, 3 times 19 is 57. Not done yet, because now I got to do this part here. So I'm going to erase some, actually I'm going to do it over here. I got 38 over 57, right? Because all this becomes 38 over 57, and I'm going to divide that by negative 6 over 10. Keep, change the multiplication, division to multiplication, and then reciprocal of that. The positive times a negative, which is a negative. Simplify this, divide by 2 is 3, divide by 2 is 5. So at the bottom I get 171, and at the top I'm going to get 40, 15, 19. Negative 190 over 171. That's my answer. Give me a second. We have to find the absolute value first, right? So inside this, do 45 minus 55 in the calculator. 45 minus 55 is negative 10. Plus 11. Now we can take the absolute value. What's the absolute value of negative 10? How far is negative 10 from 0? It's 10, right? So it's 10 units, positive. Plus 11 gives us 21. Again, we have to do this first, and this first, second. 9 minus 15, think carefully what that means. It will be negative 6 minus, and what's 3 minus negative 21? It's negative 18. What's the absolute value of negative 6? It's 6. Minus, what's the absolute value of negative 18? It's 18. 6 minus 18, you can change this to an addition if you like. Now you can clearly tell that's a positive plus a negative, and the negative is going to win, so my final answer is negative 12. Find two numbers that are 5.5 units from negative 1. So I'm going to draw a number line. An ugly one. Here's 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Negative 1, negative 2, negative 3, negative 4, negative 5, negative 6, negative 7, negative 8. So let me label them. One, two, three, four, five, six, 7, 8. Here's negative 1, that's where you are. What are two numbers that are 5.5 units away from negative 1? Well, let's go to the right. 1 unit, 2 units, 3 units, 4 units, 5 units and a half. So where does that land? It lands as 4.5. So one number that's 5.5 units away from negative 1 is 4.5. Another number that's 5.5 units from negative 1 could be in this direction. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.5. So where do I land? In between negative 6 and 7, which is negative 7.5. So our second number is negative 7.5. So we have 2. So right here from where you're standing, if you go 5.5 steps that way, you get to 4.5. If you go 5.5 steps that way, you get to negative 7.5. So either of those would have worked. Well, this one is pretty simple, right? So I can do that. It's 25 over 20. And I'm going to divide that by negative 105 over 100. I'll change that to a decimal. Right, 5 is in the hundreds place, and I just copy the number on top. Keep, change, and reciprocal. A lot of canceling here. So let's do by 20. 20 divided by 20 is 1. 100 divided by 20 is 4. Go across this way. 25 divided by 5 is 5. 105 divided by 5 is 21. That's it. Positive times a negative is a negative. 5 times 4 is 20. And 1 times 21 at the bottom is that. That's my final answer. This one, I will change all these numbers to decimals. Look how easy it's going to be. Negative 2.6, because 3/5 is 0.6, plus 0.9, minus a negative 4.75, plus 1.55. This one you can put all in the calculator. Just be very careful. If it's negative, make sure you put the negative side. Negative 2.6. Negative 2.6 plus 0.9 minus, and make sure you put the negative. Negative 4.75 and then plus 1.55. That's going to give us, yeah, it's about right. So this is going to give us 4.6. Okay. 17. Look at this. That's not my problem, right? Sam has 85, 98. So this is what Sam has. And then Maggie has 12.75 more than, what did I write here? So Maggie has, this supposed to be Sam. Okay, that's the only change. So Maggie has 12.75 more than Sam. So Sam has this, so Maggie's going to have, to find out what Maggie, I'm going to add what Sam has, plus 12.75. Come on. Right? So I'm going to write 98.55 plus 12.75. And that's going to give me 111.30. So Maggie has a little bit more money than Sam, 12.75. And then we have Tina. What does Tina have? Tina has whatever Maggie has, but 9.65 less. So whatever Maggie has, which is 130, minus 9.65. 1 minus 0.30 minus 9.65 equals 100.65. So that's how much Tina has. And how much do they all have together? You just add 8.55 plus 111.30 plus 100.65. And the total that they all share together is 310.50. So same question, but with a test scores. So here's Peter. He got an 84.25%. Paul scored a little bit higher than him. How much higher? 5.5. So it was whatever Peter scored plus 5.5. If we add this up, it becomes 89.75. So Paul scored a little bit higher, 89.75. Tim, he scored 12.2 less than Paul. So this is what Paul scored. So Tim scored a little bit less, 12.2 less. Subtract. So Tim scored, I'm putting money signs, sorry, not money signs. So Tim scored not much. So what were their scores tests combined? So I'm going to add all three. 84.25 plus 89.75 plus 75.5. Why are we adding? I have no idea. 84.25 plus 89.75 plus 77.5 equals 251. I meant to say I have no idea what's the point of adding the percents. But that would be the answer. Last one. Oh, I see. This one is a tricky one. Tricky. So 3 p.m. Temperature is 5 degrees. 9 p.m. 5 degrees Fahrenheit. The temperature is negative 12 Fahrenheit. And what happened to the temperature? Go up or down? Down. Right? So I need to find the change. So forget my multiple choice for a second. So how do I find change? Change is final minus start. So let's substitute. What's my final temperature? Negative 12. Minus, what's my beginning temperature? 5. What's negative 12 minus 5? It's negative 12 plus negative 5. So that's going to give me negative 17. So the change is negative 17 degrees. So it was 5. It dropped negative 17. And where are we now? Negative 12. Which of these 4 expressions is going to give you this answer? That's the one you're looking for. Look at A, negative 12 minus 5. Well, that's negative 17. So right away I know this is one's correct. 5 plus 12 is 17. Well, if the change is 17, shouldn't the temperature go up? It should, but the temperature didn't go up. It went down. This one is negative 12 minus, what's the absolute value of 5? It's 5. And this one also gives you negative 17. That's another right answer. D, 12 minus 5. What's 12 minus 5? Well, first of all, 12 minus 5 is 7. And if I take the absolute value of 7, what do I get? 7. So this is a no. This is a no. So it was either A or C. Those two expressions led me to the right answer. Oh, I forgot your bonus word. So your bonus word, oh boy. It's going to be, oh, yeah. And this happened. My car broke down. So I might be on public transportation for the next few days. There's always something. That's it.